Hi, Shirley here with IntelligentDomestications.com, and today we're going to be making an outdoor patriotic theme centerpiece. You could use it for any occasion. You could make lots of these for outdoor wedding ceremony and use whatever color you want. But today we're going to be using patriotic colors. So here's what you'll need. You'll need a small square styrofoam block, like so. We're going to be using a terracotta pot. My terracotta pot came from the garage, and I added some stars on the bottom with a stencil. Easy, just what I did was I used this little stencil here, and I started out painting, but this is a rounded surface, so painting on rounded is kind of aggravating. And so I used my stencil to draw with a pencil, and then I painted it in. It's therapeutic kind of painting, really. You're going to want to use a Bodabra to make the, we're making scrappy bows, and we're using our Bodabra. You will need some Bodabra wire to tie your bows up, and I'm going to show you all of my fabric. I'm using fabric and only one ribbon. I used burlap, which I cut into these long pieces. I'm going to show you all of this close up in a minute. I also used some scrap ticking fabric, which I had plenty of from another project. Cotton, it's just cotton. I cut them in strips. I'll give you the sizes. The only ribbon that I'm using is this beautiful ribbon that came from Bodabra. It's white with a little shimmery silver on it. It's really pretty, and it adds a little pop and pizzazz. And then I have a navy blue, kind of a dark blue. So I have my red, white, and blue, and let's get started. I'm going to bring you in a little closer and start telling you how to do this. So the first thing that you'll want to do is to get the size bows. We're making scrappy bows. You're going to want to cut your fabric strips about 1 inch wide and about 8.25 inches long. And you'll just cut, I cut 20 of each. I feel like that's going to be enough. And I'm just cutting my ribbon as I get to it. I'm just pulling it off the spool and cutting it as I get to it. So I'll show you how we make the bow. So start out, like I said, I'm using my handy dandy cutting board, and I'll just show you with one of my pieces of scrap fabric. I just lined it up across the bottom, measure out 8 inches across, go 8 inches high, and then cut a square of fabric. And then I actually use the guide on my cutting board for my 1 inch strips, so that I cut each one. It's about 8 inches long and 1 inch wide. Okay, so once you have plenty of strips cut to get started on your project, we'll start making our little scrappy bows. I'm going to show you what they're going to look like finished. Let me line all of my supplies up here. The finished bow is going to look like this. It's just a little scrappy bow. We're going to dovetail the ends, and it's going to be super cute on our outdoor centerpiece. And we are going to light the center of our centerpiece. Our Bodabra, I'm going to remove the wand because I won't need it for this project. We're going to start with our Bodabra wire. Our Bodabra gives us an extra set of hands. So you want to fold your wire in half and slide it down the center, tuck it under the end. That's really just to hold it in place. And let me snip the end. These are not my best scissors. They were, but I've really used them in my craft room. I need to get them sharpened or learn how to sharpen them myself. So once you tuck your wire in, we're going to get started. You want to fold each strip to find the center. Come straight down the middle. This is super duper easy, y'all. And you can just kind of pull them this way or that. Now this is the pattern that I decided to go with. The order in which I decided to place my strips of fabric in. You know, bows do not always have to be made with ribbon. Although we love ribbon, don't we? But they don't have to be made with ribbon. And so I want a certain kind of a scrappy, little bit of an aged, patriotic look to my centerpiece. And that's why I decided to use fabric scraps. So I started with the burlap strip, and then I put the ticking fabric, which is cotton, and a red, and now I want my white. Now this particular ribbon does not have the pattern on both sides. And for that reason, we want the pretty side up. Just kind of pinch it together in the middle, measure the distance that you want, and cut. I didn't cut my white yet. I'm just cutting it as I add it in. And then we finish this one off with the blue. I don't want that blue. I'll use this one. And our blue, just kind of fold it and find your center. And there you have it. Now, if you want to use your wand, you can just kind of scrunch it all together. Now we're going to take it out and tie it together. Now, love, love, love the slip knot that you make with the bow dabber. You just pull your wire through. Now, I want my knot on the back side, and so I didn't pull it tight yet. I'm going to pull it around to the back, fold my whole set together, give it a good tug, and now I want to tie it a couple of times just so I feel more secure about it being held tight. And you see, it's just a cute little scrappy bow. And we're going to make a whole bunch of these. And I'll tell you how many when we're done. And we're going to attach them to the styrofoam in the pot. And we're going to light the center. It's going to be so cute. Let's make a whole bunch of these bows. We got to dovetail them. And if you don't know how to dovetail, oh, it's so simple. So here's the bow that's not dovetailed. All of the ends are just flat. And that's fine. It really is. But if you dovetail, it just gives it a little extra pretty. It just makes it a little extra pretty, in my opinion. But it's up to you. I did not dovetail the burlap because, you know, burlap is not very forgiving. So here's how you dovetail. I've been pulling my two matching fabrics together, but you can do them one by one. Pull them together, fold them in half, like so. And then you want to cut away from you, just cut a little triangle piece out, and boom, you got the dovetail. It just makes it a little bitty bit prettier. So let's make a whole bunch of these, and we'll get to putting it on the pot. Okay, so I have about 20 of these scrappy bows ready, and I'm ready to start building my beautiful little flower pot centerpiece. So let me show you how it goes. There's about 20 of these. Now, this terracotta pot, just for your information, let me measure this. This one is about 6.5 inches across the top. It is 5 inches tall and 4.5 inches across the bottom. So that's the size of this. It's kind of a large pot. It's perfect for an outdoor table centerpiece. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our styrofoam brick in it. I've already put a few of my bows in the brick because I had to practice, and I am not gluing the brick in. And that is because this can be undone, and you can just reuse all of these things except, of course, the styrofoam. So I just place the styrofoam in, it fits just fine. This is just a little square styrofoam block. Let me see. This one is 4 inches by 4 inches. And you can pick that up at the craft store. Now, I think I forgot to say that you would also need some floral wire. Floral wire is available at the dollar store. So all we're going to do, I bet you already see where I'm going with this. We just need a small piece of floral wire for each of our little scrappy bows. And we don't really need a big piece. I don't want to deal with floral picks. This wire is perfectly sufficient to stick these little scrappy bows into our styrofoam. So all I'm going to do is wrap the wire through the center of the bow to the back side, and then I'm just going to kind of twist it around to hold it in place. And I don't mind if I get that tail from the bow dabber wire caught up in it. You can trim that off if you want to. I'm just, so it's like so. I just wound them together, and this is what I will use to poke it in. So let me bring you in a little bit closer so you can see how I'm going about this. So I have actually placed them fairly close together. There's one. There's actually 3 in here now. One here, and one here. And you see that they are pretty close together. I do not think you'll be able to see the styrofoam once we're done, but let me just say this. If that's a problem for you, and you worry about that, and you don't want the styrofoam to show, get your glue gun and some fake moss. You can get that at the Dollar Tree also. Squirt some glue all over your styrofoam, drop your fake moss on it, and boom, you have it. Okay, so we're going to put our next one in, and I'm just going to find the spot. I want them to be pretty close together. So you see how they fluff out. I'm going to kind of move this over a little bit and find me a spot fairly, but not too close. They're really about the size of my finger apart, and I'm just going to stick that floral wire straight down into the styrofoam. It's that easy. Now I will fluff and fix all the bows, and after I've got it all in here so that I have my white with the silver blingy side up, so I'm just going to go all the way around inserting my bows. Okay, so we have all of our little scrappy bows attached. I am loving the look so far. Now you can go back through and fluff your bows, put them however you want them. Be sure that if you're using a ribbon like this white one with the silver glitter, that the glitter part is on top. What I have been doing is sort of tucking the burlap down so the other colors stay up, but I love it so far, but it's not enough. If you may recall, I said we're going to light the center. So here's the center. That's what it looks like. I am going to cover the center with some faux moss. And then I'm going to sit our candle holder or light holder in the center, and we'll do that right now. So I'm using this moss, which is the green. You can get the other kind that looks more like it came from trees down in the deep south, which is where I am. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squirt some hot glue in here, just squirt it around. And then I'm just gonna, this moss is kind of messy to work with, but it really is pretty. And it's gonna make a really pretty center. We don't want the foam to show, so that's just a simple fix with a little hot glue and about 5 cents, 2 cents worth of moss, and boom, we're done. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so the moss is done. It's really cute, and we are going to add our light to the center. I have 3 different mason jars to choose from, and we're going to look at all 3 looks. It's simply going to sit in. Now, I have a battery-operated votive in here, but you could use the string lights that are battery-operated and put them in the jar. So, how do you like it with the tall votive? I kind of like the tall votive because it makes the whole thing taller. But I have choices. Let me slide you back just a little bit so we can get a better view. Okay, so here's the tall one. And you almost can't see the stars on the bottom. But look how cute this is. My goodness, what a cute centerpiece for all summer, if you decorate Patriotic all summer. So that's the tall votive. Okay, this is a jelly jar. It's not quite as tall. What do you think? How do you like that one? And then there's one more, the little bitty one. So, I don't think I care for the little bitty one. Personally, I like the tall one the best, but I want you to be able to envision what this would look like on your centerpiece on your table, as your centerpiece on your table. It's adorable. It's fabric scraps. Use your Bodabra and make you some scrappy bows and cute, cute summer centerpieces.